On the night everyone in New York was counting down to midnight, a woman who seemingly had everything was quietly being erased. Emily Carter, a billionaire tech CEO known for shutting down boardrooms with a single look, stood frozen at the entrance of the city's most exclusive restaurant as she was told her reserved table no longer existed. No explanation, no apology that mattered, just a polite smile and a subtle reminder that even power has limits. As the room watched her humiliation unfold, something unexpected happened. A man in a grease-stained shirt stood up from the back of the restaurant. Beside him sat a little girl in a purple dress. He didn't know her name. He didn't know her status. He only saw the loneliness in her eyes and made a decision that would change all of their lives forever. What began as a simple gesture on New Year's Eve would challenge everything Emily believed about success, love, and what it truly means to belong. The night New York learned how lonely success could be began with champagne flutes clinking and cameras flashing. It was New Year's Eve, and Manhattan glittered the way it always did when people pretended they were happier than they felt. Outside, Times Square roared with countdown energy. Inside the Hudson Room, one of the most exclusive restaurants in the city, money whispered softly through white tablecloths, tailored suits, and watches worth more than most people's homes. Emily Carter arrived alone. She was 42 years old, the CEO of one of the largest technology manufacturing companies in the country, a woman whose decisions moved markets and employed thousands. Her red silk dress fit her perfectly. Her Hermes bag rested on her arm like a quiet statement. She had reserved her table 2 months ago, personally confirmed it twice, and yet the moment she stopped in front of the host stand, the evening cracked. "I'm so sorry, Ms. Carter," the restaurant manager said, his smile tight, rehearsed. "There appears to have been a mix-up. Your table was reassigned." Emily blinked once. Just once. Reassigned. She scanned the room. Every table was full. Couples leaned toward each other. Laughter spilled freely. Somewhere, a cork popped, followed by applause. Dozens of eyes flickered toward her, some recognizing her immediately, others sensing drama the way sharks sense blood. "I had a confirmation," she said calmly. Her voice had ended boardroom battles. It had silenced hostile takeovers. Tonight, it sounded strangely small to her own ears. The manager nodded, pretending to check a list he clearly didn't need. "I understand. We're doing everything we can." What he didn't say was obvious. Someone more important had arrived. Someone louder. Someone who came with the kind of social weight that mattered more than written confirmations. Emily felt heat crawl up her spine. Not anger. Shame. The kind that arrives uninvited and burns worse because it makes no sense. She owned a penthouse overlooking Central Park South. She had been on the cover of Forbes' U.S. edition. She managed a $2 billion empire. And yet here she was, standing alone in a room full of strangers, suddenly aware of how quiet her phone was. No messages. No one asking where she was. No one waiting. For a brief, dangerous moment, she considered turning around and leaving. Spending midnight alone again? Watching fireworks from behind glass. Her eyes stung. Then from the far side of the room, someone stood up. He didn't look like he belonged there. His shirt was clean but worn, the kind that never quite loses the memory of grease. His hands were rough, scarred in the way only honest work can carve into skin. Beside him sat a little girl in a purple dress, her feet swinging above the floor, her attention fixed entirely on Emily. The man raised his hand, hesitant but determined, and pointed to the empty chair at his table. An invitation. Emily froze. For a second, she was sure it wasn't meant for her. Surely he was signaling someone else. Someone appropriate. Someone who fit into this polished world of crystal glasses and silent judgment. But he kept looking directly at her. No calculation, no curiosity about who she was. Just a simple smile, warm and human, the kind she hadn't seen in years. The manager leaned closer, his voice dropping. "Ms. Carter, please, give me a few minutes. There's no need for you to sit with those people." Something sharp clicked inside her chest. Those people. Emily turned her head slowly and met his eyes. The same eyes that had made executives sweat and politicians reconsider their words. Those people, she said evenly, are exactly who I want to spend my New Year's Eve with. She stepped past him before he could respond. Every footstep across the restaurant felt surreal. Conversations paused, forks hovered midair, faces registered disbelief as recognition spread. Emily Carter, the woman who closed billion-dollar deals over breakfast, walking toward a grease-stained mechanic and a child. For the first time in years, she didn't care. The man pulled the chair out for her himself, awkward but respectful. Up close, his eyes were kind. Tired but kind. "I'm Michael," he said, offering his hand. His grip was firm, honest. "And this is my daughter, Lily." Lily beamed. "I like your dress," she said immediately. "It looks like something a princess would wear." Emily laughed, a real laugh. It startled her. "Thank you," she said, sitting down. "I'm Emily." Michael didn't ask her last name, didn't ask what she did, didn't look impressed or intimidated. He just asked, "Red or white wine?" No one had asked her something so simple in a very long time. As the night unfolded, Emily learned about Queens, about a small auto repair shop that barely survived its first years, about early mornings and long nights. Michael spoke about his late wife, Anna, softly, with a tenderness that made Emily's throat tighten. About learning to braid hair because Lily cried when he did it wrong. About trying to be strong even when he felt completely lost. Lily showed her drawings. A son with wings. "That's my mom," she explained, like it was the most natural thing in the world. Emily told them about her childhood dog, about growing up in a house too big to feel warm. She didn't talk about money. She didn't talk about power. For once, she talked about loneliness. At midnight, fireworks exploded across the city. Lily fell asleep against her father's jacket, smiling. Michael raised his glass. "To finding good people by accident," he said, "and being brave enough to notice." Emily felt something shift inside her, something fragile, something alive. She didn't know it yet, but her life had already split in two before this moment and after it. The weeks after that night moved differently, as if time itself had learned to slow down around Emily Carter. On January 2nd, her assistant placed a stack of reports on her desk, urgent flags highlighted in red, meetings stacked back to back. Emily nodded, thanked her, and did something no one in the company had ever seen before. She closed the folder. Not permanently, not dramatically, just for the morning. Her phone buzzed on the corner of her desk. An unfamiliar name appeared. Michael Reed. She stared at it longer than she needed to. "You're probably busy," the message read. "Just wanted to say Lily keeps asking when the princess is coming back." Emily smiled before she realized she was doing it. "Tell her the princess is terrible with engines but very good at keeping promises," she typed back. "I owe your car that inspection." She didn't tell herself it was an excuse. She didn't need to. Some truths don't require justification. The auto shop in Queens didn't look like anything from her world. The floor was stained. The air smelled like oil and metal. A radio played softly in the background. Yet the moment Emily stepped inside, Michael looked up from under a lifted car and smiled in a way that made the space feel warmer. "You came," he said, surprised. "I said I would." He wiped his hands, suddenly aware of the grease on his palms. But Emily didn't hesitate when he shook her hand again. Lily ran toward her, wrapping her arms around Emily's legs without warning. "You came back," she said, like this was the most important fact in the world. Emily crouched to her level. "Of course I did." She stayed longer than planned, asked questions, learned the names of tools, listened as Michael explained engines the way someone explains something they love. When she finally left, it was already dark. That became the pattern. She found reasons. A noise in the engine, a coffee nearby, a forgotten scarf Lily had insisted Emily keep. Michael tried not to read too much into it. He told himself she was curious, kind, temporarily bored. But then she started picking Lily up from school on days Michael worked late, started cooking dinners in her penthouse, clumsy at first, laughing when she burned the pasta. Lily sat on the counter, offering serious critiques. Michael watched from the doorway one evening, uncertain, as Emily knelt to Lily's height to fix a loose shoelace, her movements gentle, practiced in a way that surprised him. "You don't have to do all this," he said quietly later. I want to, Emily replied just as quietly. It scared him how easily she fit. Michael knew who she was, of course. He'd looked her up the night after New Year's Eve, curiosity and disbelief wrestling inside him. Articles, numbers, headlines. Emily Carter, powerhouse CEO, untouchable. It didn't match the woman who sat on his kitchen floor helping Lily color inside the lines. Still, doubts crept in when he least expected them. Late at night, when Lily slept and the apartment felt too quiet, when his brother asked if he was sure this wasn't a phase, when coworkers joked about fairy tales. You don't think she'll wake up one day and realize you don't belong in her world? His brother asked. Michael didn't answer right away. I think, he said slowly, that she's building a new one. Emily faced her own battles. At a board meeting, a senior partner cleared his throat and smiled thinly. We've noticed certain distractions. Emily didn't look up from her notes. Have profits dropped? No. Has performance suffered? No. Then my personal life, she said calmly, is not a corporate concern. The room went quiet. Later, a friend pulled her aside at a charity gala. Be careful, she warned. People will talk. Emily lifted her glass. Let them. The first time Michael kissed her, it wasn't dramatic. No fireworks, no declarations. It was a quiet Saturday afternoon. The shop was closed. They were both smudged with grease, laughing about how she'd managed to get oil on her cheek. Their eyes met, and the laughter faded naturally, like something concluding instead of beginning. Michael hesitated. Emily, she stepped closer. I know. He kissed her carefully, like she might vanish if he moved too fast. Emily felt her chest tighten, then soften. It had been so long since touch felt this uncomplicated. Not everyone was happy. A columnist hinted at impropriety. A client questioned her judgment. Someone leaked a photo of her leaving the shop. Emily shut it down with one statement. My success was built on courage. I won't lose it by loving honestly. Michael faced his fears differently, quietly. He worried about disappointing her, about being enough, about what Lily might lose if this ended. One night, as Lily slept between them during a movie she never finished, Michael admitted it. I'm scared, he said, one-on-one. Chicken. Emily took his hand. So am I. That was enough. A year later, they married in the courtyard of the shop. No press, no spectacle. Lily scattered flower petals, glowing with pride. Emily wore a simple white dress. Michael wore the first suit he'd ever owned. It felt perfect. 3 years later, Emily no longer ran the company day to day. She founded a program teaching skilled trades to underprivileged youth. Michael still fixed cars. Lily had a little sister named Anna. Every New Year's Eve, they returned to the Hudson room. The manager still smiled awkwardly. Emily still tipped generously. And every year, she remembered the night she learned that real wealth doesn't announce itself. It stands up quietly and offers a chair. The third year after that, New Year's Eve arrived quietly, without announcements or headlines. And Emily Carter realized something had changed when she woke up before her alarm and didn't feel the familiar weight in her chest. Sunlight spilled across the bedroom floor. The city hummed below, distant and alive. Michael was already awake, standing at the window with a mug in his hands, watching traffic like it was a story unfolding just for him. Lily was still asleep down the hall, her door half open, one sock discarded in the middle of the floor. Anna's soft breathing rose and fell in the crib beside their bed. For the first time in her life, Emily didn't feel like she was rushing towards something she might never reach. She felt like she had arrived. That morning, she drove Michael to the shop. It had grown, but only just enough. A second lift, a slightly bigger sign, same neighborhood, same regulars. Michael never wanted more than that. He liked knowing his customers by name. He liked watching Lily wave to him from the sidewalk after school. He liked the rhythm of a life that didn't demand he become someone else. Emily had learned to respect that. Not everyone did. The call came just before noon. An old board member, one of the few Emily had kept in touch with after stepping back from daily operations, spoke with a familiar urgency. There was a hostile acquisition attempt underway. A group of investors believed the company was vulnerable without her direct leadership. They wanted her back, full-time, public-facing, visible. "They're saying you owe it to the legacy," he said. Emily looked at the calendar on her wall. Lily's school play was circled in red, Anna's pediatric appointment in blue, Michael's name written in pencil next to the words anniversary dinner. "I don't owe anyone my life," Emily replied. She hung up without waiting for an answer. That night, she told Michael everything while they washed dishes together, water running warm over their hands. He listened without interrupting, the way he always did, like the answer mattered less than the truth. "What do you want to do?" he asked when she finished. Emily dried her hands slowly. "I want to protect what we built, without burning it down, without disappearing." Michael nodded. "Then we'll figure it out." They always did. Emily made one final public appearance a week later. One last speech, one last stage. Cameras flashed, headlines followed. She spoke about redefining success, about building systems that serve people instead of consuming them, about stepping aside without stepping away. Some called it weakness, others called it brave. She didn't care. The real test came months later, on another New Year's Eve. They returned to the Hudson room, the four of them now. Lily was taller. Anna clutched a stuffed rabbit. Michael wore the same jacket he'd worn years ago, cleaner now, but still unmistakably his. Emily wore red again, not silk this time, but something simpler, softer. The same manager greeted them, same tight smile, same hesitation. Then something unexpected happened. A woman stood near the host stand, clutching her phone, eyes darting nervously around the room. Her dress was beautiful, but her hands shook. The manager spoke to her in low tones, his head shaking slightly. Emily recognized the posture instantly. She felt Michael's hand tighten around hers. Lily looked up at her, eyes bright with recognition. "Mom," she whispered. "She looks sad." Emily smiled. Without thinking, she stepped forward. "Is there a problem?" she asked calmly. The manager stiffened. "No, Ms. Carter, of course not." Emily turned to the woman. "Would you like to sit with us?" The woman hesitated, disbelief flashing across her face. "I don't want to impose." "You wouldn't," Emily said gently. "It's New Year's Eve. No one should sit alone." Michael pulled out a chair. Lily waved enthusiastically. Anna giggled. The woman sat down, tears slipping silently down her cheeks, and in that moment, Emily felt the circle close. At midnight, they toasted quietly. No speeches, no cameras, just laughter, clinking glasses and a sense of something right settling into place. Later, back home, Lily asked the question Emily had been waiting for. "Mom," she said, serious now, "do you think people can really change?" Emily tucked her in, brushing hair from her face. "I think people can remember who they were meant to be." Anna stirred in her crib. Michael stood in the doorway, watching them, his expression unreadable but full. Emily joined him once the house went quiet. "You okay?" he asked. She nodded. "I just realized something." "What's that?" "I spent half my life chasing worth, the other half learning I already had it." Michael smiled. "Took you long enough." She laughed softly and rested her head against his shoulder. Outside, fireworks bloomed over the city again. Not as loud as before, not as urgent, just beautiful. And if you've stayed with this story until now, let me ask you something gently. Do you think Emily truly found happiness, yes or no? Do you believe one small act of kindness can echo across an entire lifetime? If this story moved you, would you comment on 100 below to let me know? I'd also love to know where you're watching from, and if this story meant something to you, please share it with someone who might need to hear it tonight.